So I was very lucky. I was very, very lucky. When I got sick, because that's what happened, I got sick, I was 4 months old. So this is the only life I've ever known. I had a really rare form of meningitis called meningococcal septicemia. Don't worry. Y'all don't have to repeat it. I can't spell it. Thank goodness for autocorrect sometimes. And what it does is it stops all the blood in my body from flowing. Actually, instead of talking about that, let's go back to the day that I got sick. I'm going to take you guys through that day. And I didn't know this story until about 6-7 months ago. My mom sat me down and she said, I think you should hear about the events, because she knew I was doing the motivational speaking, and she said, I think you should really hear the story of the day that you got sick. And it was just like any other day. My mom was getting ready to take me to the babysitter's house, who happened to be her cousin. And we were getting ready, and we got in the car, and off we went. And my mom's driving along, and she hits a red light. And like every mom, my mom thought her kid was like the cutest little dude in the world. The difference between my mom and like most moms is that she was right. So we're driving along, and she wanted to tell me how adorable I was. So she started rubbing my tummy, and who's the cutest boy? Oh, this is so cute. And she noticed a little red mark on my stomach. She didn't think anything of it. It was just a little red mark. Next red light, same thing, more red marks. By the time we got to the babysitter's house, I wasn't white anymore. I was a black and red baby. So they rushed me to emergency. We get there, and not only was I a black and red baby, but I was gasping for air. I couldn't breathe. Now, I don't know what the emergency rooms are like in the States, but in Canada, the way that the emergency room works is you go in, you sign in with a nurse, you wait for 4 hours, you get seen by another nurse, you wait for another 4 hours, you get seen by a doctor's assistant, you wait for another 4 hours, you get seen by a doctor. That's pretty much how it goes. Well, at this point, ain't nobody got time for that. So, my mom, you're going to learn some things about my mom tonight. Before anything, my mom is a straight up G. Real talk, my mom is a G. Now, my mom picked me up and ran me into emergency screaming, "Somebody please help me, my baby's dying, somebody help!" And the nurse looked at her and said, "Ma'am, if you could fill out the paperwork and wait your turn, please." My mom completely ignored her and proceeded to scream again, "Somebody please help me, my baby's dying, somebody help!" The nurse yelled at my mom, "Ma'am, sit down and wait your goddamn turn." Thankfully, a doctor overheard this going on, looked over my mom's shoulder and saw this lifeless baby in her arms, and they rushed me into emergency. Now, they didn't have the equipment needed at this hospital to save my life. They had to send an ambulance from another hospital across town with enough equipment in it to keep me alive to get me from one hospital to the other. Now, even in doing this, there was a less than 2% chance that they would be able to do anything at this other hospital. So the doctor looked at my mom and said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but there's nothing we can do. There's a less than 2% chance that we're going to be able to save him." Now, Mom is a G. So she said, 0%? Well, no, not 0, but less than. So not 0 then? No, ma'am, but less than. If it's not 0, why are we still talking? Why are we still talking? And off we went. Now, because of this equipment in the ambulance, there was no space for my mom. So my mom had to drive her own car to the other hospital, and I was in the ambulance. Now, you're going to learn some things about me tonight, some of which you may have already learned just watching me do things. Number one, I'm working on this one. I'm not very proud of it. I'm maybe a little tad bit of a brat. Maybe. You tell me you don't want me to do something, I can't do something, or I'm not allowed to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it better than you. I'm going to laugh at you while I'm doing